Alright, I'm going to give you a quick demo here of the Alesis dm5 Pro kit. I've been getting quite a bit of, or quite a few questions lately on it. Sorry my head's going to be the back of you most of the time. I'm here with Daddy's biggest fan, so just my setup where the camera is, it's kind of behind me, so I'll give you a quick rundown. Comes like most kits, has your 5 pads, one for your bass, snare, toms, and one of them, which is supposed to be the snare, is a dual trigger, which I have as my second rack tom, and I use the rim shot as a secondary crash cymbal. And as you can hear, it's slightly lower than the primary crash. Foam rubber pads for your cymbals. 3 of them, one for hi-hat and one ride, one crash, or however you set them up, they're all the same. Excuse me. I've been getting questions on how the kit is set up, and whether or not you can set up your own basic kits, or you have to go with the presets. You can set up your own kits. Good, you can see the module here. You have your LCD display, which displays your kit that you're using or whatever functions you happen to be going through. And your function buttons are all on the right. So you have your, from right to left on the top row, your store. Note chase is just, if you select that, you can display whichever settings on whatever pad you happen to be working with. Voice is what your sample is. So if you want to change your snare voice from one with a tight set of chains on the bottom, or one with no chains at all, that's where you would do it, or change from a snare to a tom, what have you. Beside that is tune, and that's used to set your pitch of your instrument. Mix is where you can set your volume, your pan. On the far right of mix is output, and that's where you can change whether you want it to go through your standard stereo outputs or your auxiliary. Down on the bottom row, you have your left and right parameter buttons, which with each of the mix external trigger settings, you have multiple different settings in the LCD screen, and this just allows you to tab through them. To the right of that is drum set, and that's just to select which drum set you want to use. External trigger is to the right, and that's controlling the parameters in the external trigger, such as your gain, velocity curve, your crosstalk, which with things such as the dual triggering snare pad, the crosstalk on that will be a little louder or a little higher than the rest. That just stops them from, when you hit a snare, from triggering the rim shot. Decibel and noise features, I've left them stock. I've never used them, have no clue what they're for. To the right of that is group, and this is where you can group multiple sounds together to create one sound. So if you did want to get a double bass, you could group them there. And then the last button is your MIDI, where you can go out. Let me just check here. Yeah, you can choose your channel, and you can turn on or off your through feature, which would allow you to connect another module or another MIDI device, such as a keyboard, and allow it to pass through the dm5. Now, to go through and actually set up a kit, which I'll do now. My standard kit, pretty basic, but if I wanted to change it, say I didn't like the current hi-hat, I would go note chase, voice, and that's my hi-hat open, which on dm5 currently is the British Open. And if I wanted to change that, I'd use the thumb wheel. right here beside the LCD screen, and just go through. Now I've got it at voice 16, which states it's light open. And if you wanted to store that, you'd press the store button and then select whichever setting number you'd like to store it in, 1 through 20, and then hit the store button a second time. I'm not going to do that because I don't wish to change it. Some of the other questions I get is, does it have a USB? If you wanted USB, you would have to get a MIDI to USB converter. Cheap ones are about $40-50. More expensive ones range in the hundreds. This doesn't have a USB port on the output. It only has stereo and MIDI outs. Although the Alesis dm5, or correction, Alesis does sell the USB kit, which comes with the Alesis I/O controller. If you have a Mac, you can just take your output from the dm5 and go directly into your audio input on the Mac, kind of the way I have it running right now, except I have my dm5 running through a soundboard and from the soundboard into the input on the Mac. My only purpose for that is so that I can play along with the music. I have my Mac connected to the soundboard as well, and it provides music in, my headphones on, and then back again the input into the Mac, and I play along with the music, as you've already seen a couple of my mediocre videos. Hope this helps out anybody that's out there. If you have any further questions, feel free to ask. I'll answer what I can. Oh, a couple other questions that have come up. Does not come with a bass pedal. I just picked up a cheap chain drive bass pedal. Seems to work pretty well. And if you want to do double bass, you can either set up 2 bass pedals, or as I've set up in kit 2, correction, kit 1. My kit 0 is my standard kit. I have a bass on the normal bass pad, and my hi-hat trigger is also a bass as well. So that is one way around it. The only thing, if you're going to do that, you have to make sure, if you are going to use your hi-hat, that you set both the open and closed position to the same sound as you're using it, or else you're going to be switching back and forth between open and closed as you're using your bass. But if you set them both to closed or both to open, whichever you're going to use, nobody should notice a difference. Hope that helps.